Hey everybody, welcome to week 4. This week we're going to be talking exclusively about block ciphers. So first, let's talk about what is a block cipher. Block ciphers are a fundamental part of symmetric cryptography and provides the basics for many encryption protocols and standards that we use today. A block cipher takes a block of plain text and a key as an input and applies several rounds of transformations to produce the ciphertext. This process is then reversed to decrypt the data. These next 2 weeks will explore the main types of block ciphers as symmetric and asymmetric. So, section 1, we're going to talk about symmetric key block ciphers. In week 5, we'll talk about asymmetric block ciphers. So, first, let's jump right into it. So, symmetric key block ciphers are a type of ciphers where the same key is used for both encryption and decryption. Examples include the data encryption standard DES, the triple data encryption standard 3DES, and the advanced encryption standard AES. DES and 3DES have largely been subdued to the vulnerabilities associated, as we talked about in previous lectures, with their shortened key length, while the AES is currently the standard for most encryption protocols due to its strong and security and efficiency. So let's jump right into it for DES, Data Encryption Standards. DES was one of the earliest symmetric key block ciphers and was widely adopted for several decades. It uses a 56-bit to encrypt 64-bit blocks of data. It uses 56-bit key to encrypt 64-bit block of data. Despite its historical importance, despite the importance of it, DES is now considered insecure for many reasons and for many applications because of small key sizes. This makes it very easy for blunt force attacks, as we talked about previously. That is when an attacker can try all the possible keys to decrypt the data. Despite its vulnerability, DES has had the longest impact on the field of cryptography. In its heyday, it was widely used across industries, from banking to communication to protecting sensitive data. Some legacy systems still uses DES. Can you believe that? Usually because upgrading to a more secure algorithm like AES is not possible, since they might not have the technology to do so. To increase security, a variant known as the 3DES can be used, which applies the DES algorithm 3 times to each block of data. However, the 3DES is also not as effective as the AES, and because a lot of it is done through machine powers, and the development of more secure algorithms have been out in the industries. Perfect. Now let's talk about a use case. So a critical event that underscored the vulnerability of DES was the Deep Crack project. By the Electric Frontier Foundation in the late 1900s, the EFF's goal was to show that DES, despite being the standard at the time, was vulnerable to blunt force attacks. They constructed a machine known as the Deep Crack for less than $250,000 that was capable of testing every possible DES key in a matter of days. This event demonstrated that the DES was no longer secure against well resourced attackers and played a significant role in the move towards more secure encryptions like the AES, which we still use today. In this case, this is a very clear case of how advancement in technology can compromise the security of encryption algorithms. So we have higher powered machines can decrypt a lot of the systems that we have now. So as we continue to have more powerful machines, we need to find better ways on encrypting the data with the algorithms. And this highlights the importance of the continuous improvement and adaptation in the field of cryptography. So let's talk about everything we talked about, let's do a quiz question here. So, which of the following statements best describes the relationship between block ciphers and stream ciphers? So, when we talked about last week, how does this week's topic of block ciphers differentiate? So, let's test your understanding of the difference between the two, um, and let's take a look and let's see if we can try to figure this out together. Okay, perfect. So, block ciphers encryption data bits by bit, while stream ciphers encrypts large data in larger blocks. Then stream ciphers doesn't match this word of blocks because that would technically be a block cipher. So we know that this one is wrong just by the naming convention here. Block ciphers and stream ciphers are both encryption data in block of equal sizes. As we just talked about earlier, there is not the block cipher is in the 64 bits, so there is no equal sizing on here. So this is wrong. Block ciphers encrypt data in large blocks, while stream ciphers encrypt data bit by bit. So kind of the difference of what this first one is here. So this looks like the most feasible one, but let's just give it a check mark for now. There is no difference between block ciphers and stream ciphers. So that is wrong by many accounts. So the correct answer here is C. Let's clear the screen. Okay, perfect. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, we talked about DES. Now let's talk about triple DES. So triple DES is the is a triple data encryption standard, or 3DES. Was developed as an enhancement to the original DES, as we talked about, to counteract some of the vulnerabilities that was lingering around. While DES uses a 56-bit key, which was proven to be susceptible to blunt force attacks, 3DES applies the DES ciphers algorithms three times to each data block, significantly increasing the key size and hence the security of it. However, this also means that the 3DES is slower than 3DES, which can be a drawback in systems that need to be more effective and faster. Um, and it's a big drawback in systems that require high-speed encryption and decryption. Perfect. So, what's the practical use of 3DES? So, 3DES was found in several industries, including finance, where securing transaction was the most important thing. It was also used in VPNs for providing secure remote access. However, over time, the use of 3DS was almost non-existent. The advancements of encryption algorithms such as AES, its successor, which offers a higher security and more effective, and higher security and more efficient, has led to the gradual displacement of 3DS. So it's barely really used in the more modern systems. Still, understanding the 3DS gives us an insight into the evolution of cryptography, and cryptographic algorithms, and how we've advanced to encryption standards that we use today. So, the deprecation of 3DES. So, an important discussion in the recent years revolving around 3DES involves the deprecation in favor of more secure encryptions, as I mentioned, AES. Recently, in 2023, the United Nations, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, INST, officially deprecated 3DES and recommended against using it in favor of the newer systems. Similarly, the Internet Engineering Task Force, the IETF, proposed the deprecation of 3DES in the Transport Layer Security, which is the TLS protocols, which is crucial for security communication over the internet, as we discussed previously. These steps underscored the continuous evolution in the field of cryptography and the need for stronger encryption algorithms to protect data against increasingly more intelligent threats. It also highlights the importance of always staying updated in this ever changing field. Cool. Now we have another practice quiz question. So let's get into this. We are going to go, let me get out the pen. Okay, which of the following statement about 3DS is true? 3DS is less secure than DES. Well, we know this is not true in the sense that this 3DS was created to be more secure than the DES. So we know that that's wrong. 3DS applies the DES cipher algorithm 3 times to each block data. That sounds a little bit true because the number three here, remember that three is the double, you're tripling it. So let's give it a check mark. Let's see if there's anything else that could be um, also correct. 3DS is faster than AES. That's not correct because AES is the predecessor, is the successor. Um, and then D is, well, C is incorrect just because of that reason. 3DES is the recommended encryption standard for new systems. We just previously talked about the deprecation of it, so we know that 3DS is not it. So for this, B is correct. Okay, perfect. Now let's get to AES, the Advanced Encryption Standard. So the thing that we use currently now. Okay, perfect. The Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES, is currently the most widely used encryption standard for data protection. Established by the U.S. National Institution of Standards and Technology, the NIST. You gotta love all these acronyms. In 2001, AES replaces DES as the preferred standard for sensitive data encryption. As we talked about before, DES was very vulnerable to attacks, and it was not as secure as they believed. AES operates on the 128-bit block of data and supports key sizes of 128, 192, or 256 bits. The security strength provided by AES is also super high, and that it used by the United States government for encrypting classified information. All right, so now what are some practical uses of AES? AES finds wide applications in various fields. It is used in protocols such as Secure Socket Layer or SSL and Transport Layer Security TLS, which secures internet communications. If you've ever used HTTPS in your web browsers, your web browser address bar, you've used a protocol security by AES. So if I ask a question on the exam or in the quiz, what is an example of AES in communication in web communication? This is one that you would mention. AES is also used in Wi-Fi to secure wireless networks, specifically the WPA2 and the WPA3 protocols. Additionally, many software applications uses AES for data encryption, ensuring that private information remains confidential. In short, AES has become the gold standard in data encryption due to its security and efficiency. Now, you may ask, is there ever going to be a time where we go away from AES? It's possible. As data starts to evolve and the threats start to increase, they may in the future may look for a different opportunity for encryption, as we did for DES and DES 3 or 3DES. AES was a successor, but who knows? Maybe in the future we can get a different one as well. So AES in the news. AES consistently appears in the news and discussion related to data security, encryptions, and privacy. One key area where AES plays a vulnerable role is in the securing Wi Fi networks. The WPA2 protocols, which is widely used for securing Wi Fi's as a part of the last update in 2021, employs AES encryptions. The most recent and even the most secure WPA3 protocols also rely on AES. These protocols are essential for protecting data transmitted over the Wi Fi networks, where at home, in the office, or in public hotspots, which is super important now because a lot of the world are, and a lot of people in the US are actually at home or in public hotspots. So think of like a Starbucks and such. Um, as not everybody is in the office more often now. So AES is also used by leading technology companies to protect user data. A example of this is Apple, which employed the end-to-end AES encryption for its iMessage and FaceTime security. This means that not only is the sender and recipient can this means that only the sender and the recipient can access the messages sent between them. Not even Apple can decrypt the messages. These examples illustrate the incredible use and role of AES in our digital lives, reinforcing why understanding AES and other cryptographic technologies is so important in today's world. So also, but please note that however AES is a robust and secure encryption standard, no technology is completely foolproof. Regular updates and strong security practices and ongoing research are very critical to maintaining and ensuring security in all that we do over the internet, all that we do with each other, and communication with data, um, since we're always continuously evolving. Okay, perfect. Now let's get to our last practice quiz question for this week. Um, Now let's say where is the AES standard commonly used? So take a moment, think about this. Let me take out the pen. Let's go over this together. As the in SSL and TSL protocols for security internet communication. Yeah, it's pretty much used there. Let's see the other options here. In Wi-Fi to secure wireless networks, such as WPA2 and WPA3. We did talk about that, and we did talk about how AES is used in that, so that's also correct. Um, in software applications for data encryption, we did say that there's software application that does use it. So all of these apply, so which means that D is our correct answer since everything above is correct. Perfect. Let's go on to the next slide. And I think that's it for this week. I broke it up between this week and next week. So next week we're also going to be talking about block ciphers, and we're going to be talking about one-time pads and their securities and how they apply to everything. I do also want to mention that next week we'll also talk about. I'll also add some information about how AI plays into the encryption and how it applies to cryptography. I know AI has been a topic on a lot of people's minds, so I definitely wanted to include it. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out and ping. Take care.